So one of the most important things in my election manifesto is the sense of community here on campus. I think that a lot of students when they move to London can feel incredibly isolated, and if you're not integrated in the community here, you can very easily be made to feel so isolated. And I think we need to continue to encourage our societies to work together, to include each other, to create a much larger sense of community, like events such as QM International and Marja do on a yearly basis. We need to continue to work on these events, make them bigger, make them better. We should make sure that all of our students can get involved as much or as little as they want to, so that they can feel part of our QM community. So one welfare point that I think is incredibly important, especially right now, is Jeremy Hunt's action towards junior doctor. I think it's despicable that he's ignored all the advice from the BMA and is continuing along this line of enforcing contracts that just aren't necessary. I want to stand with the Save Our NHS campaign down at Barts. I want to try and direct as many resources as we can spare down to Barts, down to the Save Our NHS campaign, so we can stand up against Jeremy Hunt and tell him that it's not okay that he's imposing contracts such as this on our junior doctors and medical students. One of the most troubling things affecting groups of our students at the moment is the PREVENT strategy. The PREVENT strategy particularly targets Muslim students. The PREVENT strategy discriminates. Discrimination doesn't help solve radicalisation. It causes marginalisation. And marginalisation will lead to more radicalisation, not help fix it. I want the union to step up its response to PREVENT. I want the union to work with the relevant bodies such as our university, the NUS, and any MPs and ministers that will listen to help us work on a piece of legislation that will actually help to tackle radicalisation and not marginalise and discriminate against our students. So sometimes things that aren't very nice happen to our students. Sometimes we fall victim to hate crime. Sometimes we just get attacked. Sometimes things that we can't control happen to us that we need to report to the police. And not everyone feels comfortable reporting. One of the things that I've been working on here at campus is the third-party reporting centre. Through working with Tower Hamlets Council, the Hate Incident Crime Panel, and relevant bodies and support groups here on campus, I've managed to help bring the third-party reporting centre to QM. We're the first university to have such a centre catered to our needs, and it should be opening quite shortly, in fact probably before election results are even announced. This centre is a way for our students to report, sometimes anonymously if they wish, but not to police officers, to middlemen, to people that aren't intimidating for them. And this is a centre that I think will really help us to understand what type of crimes our students are falling victims to. So we can work with the police, we can work with the local council in seeing what we need to do so we can prevent this stuff from happening to our students, and so we can actually find real solutions to crime. Talking about security and crime, one of the things that's really troubled me this year is that a number of my friends have been attacked along Regent's Canal. It's not just something that happens to people that I know or my friends, it's people in the local community as well. University, the working relationships that I have built over the last 2 years to try and convince them and lobby them to try and get our security, if necessary, to patrol that area if the police are too stretched to cover it. One of the things I talked about at the beginning of this video was community. Isolation can lead to strings of problems, both academically and with your mental health. Sadly, when it comes to mental health, students that fit into liberation groups, students that are in minority groups, we're much more likely to fall victim to mental health. If you're an LGBT+ student, you're over 50% more likely to become mentally ill while at university. For trans students, that number gets even higher. These statistics are scary. And our mental health services here on campus, they're not top-notch. They don't cater to the students that are most at risk. We can't have a service that can only provide you with 6 sessions and then has to turn you away. Surely if that's the case, then you should direct the students to a different service or take them somewhere where they can get the treatment that they require. Not start to see them and then just have to leave them out in the cold. We need to work with the university at looking at the PAR grant for advice and counselling. We need to source the funding, whether that's putting pressure on the NHS or the university. We need to create resource banks that can be put on the SU website or be handed out in flyer form that have lists of where students in liberation groups and those that are most at risk can go to find help and support, whether that's local charities, advice and counselling, even the third-party reporting centre. We need this to be there for our liberation groups so it's much easier for them to find the help and support they need.